it started with what I decided to do for myself, right? I, clearly couldn't control if she was going to punch me in the face or not, or her words or her actions or whatever she's blaming me for. I'm like, okay, I hear you, but I cannot control that. So I had to go, all right, Seth, what are you going to do? And there was a point, and I remember it distinctly. I said, okay, I am going to live like Melanie owes me nothing. Like,
Wow.
I'm not going to expect anything from her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not like, okay, you're a loser, I don't expect anything good from you. It's not that. It wasn't that. I'm not expecting to get my contentment, my joy, my happiness, anything basically from her at this time. And that did, I think, a couple of things. And I didn't really tell her that, but implicitly, I think she figured it out.
If you had told me that, I'd have been so mad at you.
Right. You couldn't, you wouldn't have, like, what are you talking about? Right.
Yeah.
It would have been damaging.
Right.
But that did two things. For her, I believe that it took kind of an unconscious pressure off of her to some degree, and then really took a very conscious, direct pressure off of me and put the spotlight on myself, which is what I needed at the time. Okay, Seth, what makes you happy? Where are you content? What is your work to do? Where can you lean into this? Where do you need to put the brakes on certain things, or like, checking out or whatnot? And then I said, because we're Christian, we grew up Christian, so spirituality was a big part of our healing, right? And I said, okay, I don't know what else to do, because clearly what I'm doing isn't working,
right?
And no fault of either person. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what else to do. I'm going to pray. And I set prayer alarms, and we prayed for about 1.5 years straight, no matter what. Like, when I say no matter what, literally no matter what,
right?
Meetings, asleep, kids, whatever, alarm goes off. Okay, we're praying. And so that was,
and you'd pray together. In the morning. There was like a couple's prayer.
Yes.
A couple's prayer. Yeah. So it was in the morning, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and then bedtime.
Yeah.
No matter what. Right.
Wow.
And sometimes I would call and say, hey, I'm going to pray. She wouldn't say anything. She'd be like super pissed or whatever. And like, okay, well, I at least know that prayer is
the right thing to do.
A good thing to do. It's like, okay, everybody in the world, no matter where you come from or who you are, saving money for a rainy day is a good idea, right? And in my case, leaning on God in that, leaning on prayers, like, that's the only thing I know to do. She can say anything about it, good or bad, but I'm still going to be resolute in that. So those two things were like the crux, like the turning points of how I felt about our marriage and how I showed up.
And when
what
he
was
says,
it for you?
When he set prayer alarms, so I wanted to be very clear.
Right, on the phone, right?
5 times a day, 5 times a day for over a year. And that was a huge deal. And that consistency helped me find my turning point. But for me, the biggest turning point, the transition, was that it just kept getting worse. The harder I tried to do what I thought was the right thing, it literally ended up in more arguing, more crying, more screaming, more being angry, more wanting a divorce. And I remember, we're not trying to make this overly spiritual, but this is just like what our actual story is.
No, it's your journey,
I remember like reading the Bible, because I was trying to find ways to like biblically zing him. I was like, oh yeah, the God hates
there's some good ones in
and
there.
I know, right? So I was like looking for biblical zingers. And so there I am looking through my Bible to try to be mean to my husband. And there was some, like verse like, God hates this, but he hates this even more. And when I read it, I was like, wait, what it says God hates is exactly what I'm doing to my husband. Like, I'm treating him like garbage. I'm bitter. I'm pulling the ashes into my own lap and wondering why I'm getting burned, and then yelling at him for it. So it really was this like eye-opening moment of, I am terribly messing up right now. And the only thing, again, that we could lean on, or I could even lean on, was, well, he's praying 5 times a day. It's about all I got, So but it is a slow process that has to start with just looking in the mirror. What am I doing to make this worse? Even though I didn't make the sort of incident happen or whatever, like I didn't cause that, but what am I doing to not let it heal faster? You know what I mean? I'm like, keep ripping the Band-Aid off every time we make progress, kind of a vibe.
Thanks for stopping by and watching this little clip of my podcast interview. If you want to catch the full episode with this guest, you can click on the link below. It'll take you to my podcast and you can listen to the whole thing. Once again, I appreciate your support. I've got lots of other episodes you can check out as well, and I'd love to hear what you think about it.